Hi there, I'm Bells, and this is Künstlerstunde. This is my reaction channel where I do reactions in English and in German. And today I'm going to react to the Chinchilla interview. I did before part 1, I did it in 2 parts. I did 1 part before and I will do it in 2 parts. This is the interview with Chris Liepe. And I stopped the last time at 51 minutes and 29 seconds. And so we have, 30 minutes, 40 minutes more to watch. And I will do this today. I'm interested in knowing more about Chinchilla. This interview was really interesting, the first part of it. And so, yes, let's not talk too much. Let's start. Let's go into this.
Well, I heard you say something about, you might change something, or if you've had a couple times where it's been bad, and especially when you're on tour, there's this aspect of like, well, I have to do this for so many nights in a row, or whatever. How are you budgeting your voice so that you can do things consistently? It's probably a combination of changing some things, or going real hard one night and not so much the next night, or I'm sure it's also partly in the writing of how I've got to perform all these songs together. They can't all be I only have so many money notes in me. Talk a little bit about that. The pacing that you have to go through to get through things.
I think I'm still working that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I've been on tours, it's difficult, you know? I think it's a lot of it's in the set list. Like I'll try and make sure that I have like some down numbers, or like I'll put a long speaking section after a really, really crazy song or something, and
Yeah.
I'll just like get my breath back for a while and then do like a ballad, which is kind of still hard to sing, but a bit slower.
Right.
But most of my songs are kind of like, it's funny when I'm working with my band in a rehearsal and we're trying to like make a set list. It's like, okay, let's put an easy song here.
Yeah.
And then we're all like,
Which one?
there aren't really any easy songs, because I feel like every time I write a song I'm like, and now for the big moment.
Yeah.
This is really funny, or it's really interesting what she says, because I thought about this. There are no easy songs. What I've heard before, I've heard not so many songs, but maybe 5, 6 songs, and they were all big. And how she said, they have all these big moments, and they are like big show, not only for how she presents them, but also how she, or how they look, but also how she sang it. They are all with these really big moments and the big voice and these highlights in the songs. So it's really interesting what you have to think about if you plan a tour like a Chinchilla tour or like a concert from her, that you have to think about, oh, I need a pause there, I need to catch my breath, or I need something to bring the voice a little bit down. I have to talk a little bit about these songs, and it looks like it's not that spontaneous anymore. This is really interesting. I haven't thought about this before. Nice to get to know this.
Because I feel like every time I write a song I'm like, and now for the big moment.
Yeah.
Or especially in a live arrangement I'm like, there needs to be a big moment. But no, yeah, it's like, it's difficult to pace, I think. I also have it in performing. Like I wear now, if I go on tour, I wear knee pads every night on stage.
Oh, wow.
Under my trousers, because I was really, really messing up my knees for a while. I would drop onto them and I'd like walk across the stage on my knee, because I just get so into it. And it's not like, it wasn't an option to be like, I need to stop doing that, because I said that, and then in the moment would come and I'd be like, I don't care about my knees.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do it anyway. And then I'd be like not able to walk properly for like a week, and I couldn't do like any lunges or squats or anything at the gym because my knees were so weak from it for months. And So things like that, and also like the nails
All
I
for the
wear, like the
art.
glue that sticks them on, I have to I got a different glue because I was like ripping off my nail beds every night, not
Oh,
my
geez.
actual nail beds,
Yeah.
but I just thought that it came to a point where I was like, okay, I need to physically take a bit more, look after myself a bit more. I also never ever drink anything the night before a show, drink any alcohol or anything, or smoke or anything like that. I'm quite like I love vocal zones. I'm always eating vocal zones. They're like, do you know vocal zones?
No.
Ah, they're amazing. Maybe they're a UK thing, I'm not sure, but they're like these they're basically like little sweets for they're really menthol.
Like the. You're probably just using a different word. Like these are lozenges, like
Yeah.
cough drops, sort of thing. Like these have lemon and
Yeah,
honey
yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff in
that
them.
kind of thing, yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
And
Yes,
then
I do have those.
yeah,
What are you
they're
calling them?
amazing.
What are you calling them?
Vocal zones. They're
Vocal
specifically for
zones.
vocals.
Oh no, so I don't have that brand or that. I'll have to look into them. That's cool.
I'm
Never
actually
heard of
I'm
this.
gonna send you some
Okay.
because they're amazing. They're so good. You have to know about them.
Yeah.
I like live off them on tour when I'm recording.
Oh
Like
wow.
anytime I need to sing, I'm like, where are the vocal zones? Um, yeah, lemon and honey. I try not to drink like any coffee or anything before I go on because of just anything like stodgy that's too, yeah.
So you said you don't smoke before the shows. Are you a smoker? Do you smoke some?
Sometimes socially.
Yeah. And do you find
But
any interaction with your voice that is lasting, or is it no big deal?
um I think it's more in my head.
Hmm.
But like when I'll smoke sometimes, but then if I have something coming up, so for example, um, I'm just very good at like being like, okay, no, I'm not going to do anything now
Yeah.
for, I can switch it off. I'm lucky that I don't get addicted to it easily, I think.
Yeah.
So for example, I have a music video that I'm shooting in a few days, and I just a few days ago was like, right, I'm not going to drink coffee anymore
Oh
until
yeah, that's good.
I shot the music video. I'm also not going to drink or smoke or anything like that.
Yeah.
And yeah,
So you
I
don't have
think
any
I'm
vices. You can enjoy things when you want to enjoy them and put your mind at ease a little bit, but you don't have to do it. That's really awesome. That's
well, yeah, sometimes coffee's like probably I love a coffee actually,
yeah.
but sometimes it makes me anxious.
Yeah, coffee
So
makes me really anxious. I have to do I
that's actually why I'm not drinking it at the moment because music videos are just so stressful. Like there's so much to plan, and I'm like, I can't afford to be more anxious than I already
right?
am.
What was it like opening for Sting?
Okay, I don't get it. Why does coffee make her anxious? And he also understands it. Maybe I understand it's not good uh, as a translational thing. Is there something to know about coffee and anxious combined? I've never heard of this. So I drink coffee every day. It makes me never anxious. I think I don't get the point here. I know some people get more nervous maybe when they drink coffee because of the caffeine. Or maybe if they are ADHD people, they say they can't drink coffee because it makes them much more all over the place or something like this. And some people can't sleep, but with anxious, I've never heard this before. So if you know something about this, let me know. If there is something to know about. I've never heard this before. It's interesting.
To plan, and I'm like, I can't afford to be more anxious than I already am.
Right? What was it like opening for Sting?
Sting. It was awesome. It was like I always call it definition deep end. Like it was severe deep end.
Yeah.
Going from have never having never done anything like that to, you know, like big arenas, and it was very random pairing. But it was amazing. It was amazing. His team were so lovely. Like they just really looked after us. They had no egos. Like they were just really welcoming and wanted to help us out as much as they could. And no one was, you know, like, oh, this is our person. Like they were like, oh yeah, they were just so nice, and it was such a nice experience, and it was amazing. I was lucky because I did the Eastern European leg of the tour. So I did 4 shows with him, and and I think the first show I was like purely nervous, to the point where I didn't enjoy it really, because I was so nervous and I just was trying to get through it and do it right, you know. The second show I was like really nervous, but I was like, okay, I enjoyed that one a bit. And then the third show I was like, oh no, I'm starting to really enjoy it. And by the fourth show it was like, okay, I purely enjoyed that. And obviously I was nervous, but it wasn't like to the point where it was like crippling. It was just it was like boot camp of music industry boot camp. Like it was insane, and it was amazing. It was so amazing.
What would you say one of your main takeaways was coming off of that? Like what do you carry with you from that experience into everything you're doing now?
I think it really taught me a lot about stamina. Sting, he's in such good shape. Like he's vocally, he was amazing every night.
And his stamina.
He was doing these really long, probably 1.5 to 2 hour performances every single night. And I know that it's like something that we all know happens. Like everyone, you know, these huge artists, they go on tour, they do 2-hour shows every single night for a year or whatever, or with a few days off. But actually seeing it and actually being on the tour, I was like, wow, this is incredible. Like I can't. And he's I think he's in his 70s.
It's still,
and honestly, it's unbelievable. I was like, because also we did the tour on a budget and we stayed in Airbnbs. It was the cheapest way to do it. So we were like getting like coaches at like 5 a.m. because it was the cheapest coach to get. So we'd wake up after a show like at 5 and then get a coach to the next city, and then we wouldn't be able to check into our next Airbnb until like 3 p.m. So then we'd be like hauling our bags around this city, and then we'd go to the Airbnb, check in, and then it would be like straight to sound check. And it was really, really tiring. That tour, like that was a big takeaway from that tour, was like it was amazing, but it was really tiring. And I remember thinking like I don't know how to do this. Like I don't know how people do this, because I was not. It was physically exhausting, and it was vocally exhausting, and by the last show I was almost losing my voice, and I did 4. And I was just so impressed with him, I think, and the whole band and everyone. But I think especially vocally, like, you know, if you have a cold and you can still play guitar, but vocally it's just like, it was incredible. And I think it taught me a lot about, you know, actually being in that experience. It taught me a lot about stamina, basically.
Yeah. Wow. So how long were your bits every night?
Half an hour.
Yours were half an hour. And and he was doing an hour and a half or so, and at 7.
To be fair, because we did it on a budget, it was only me and one musician on stage.
So you had to carry
I really had to bring it. Like I really had to like give it so much energy. I was like running around the stage every night, you know, like I was all the dancers, and I was all the backing singers, and I was all the parts in the song, and I was like, okay, there can't be a moment where people are bored. So I was really like, it was like really exhausting. And I guess if you had a bigger budget and, you know, a bigger, you'd be able to have moments where you are off stage, or you're not singing, not dancing. But
let me introduce you to my drummer, and then you walk off stage, and that kind of thing.
Have a little lie down.
Right. Well, so you learned a lot about stamina, and with all
But I have to say, I saw some live performances of her, and for Fingers, especially, she was alone with this piano player, or with this person who plays the keys, and it sounds really, really great. So I can imagine this were really great shows, which he did here with only one musician too, because she's really, really good in this. But I understand what she says, that she has to be all in this 30 minutes. It was only her and a musician, and yeah, I understand what she says, but I think it sounds like it had been great, or it could have been great, because she's really, really good live, and these versions with one musician were great, which I saw. So sounds nice.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so you learned a lot about stamina, and with all of these stages of your singing career, you learn and adapt. What does practicing look like for you? I know just prior to this call you were practicing for a shoot, but when it comes to practicing your singing, do you practice? Do you have like a warm-up routine or things that you do, or is it mainly just on-the-job training where you're writing a song and doing videos and performing and your voice gets better because of that, or both?
It's mainly, yeah, on the job training. As you said, it's kind of like doing music every day, naturally singing every day.
You build your voice through that. You don't build your voice through some particular routine or
No, well, I have a vocal warm-up that I do every time I'm recording properly, like properly recording vocals, like doing a vocal session.
Yeah.
And also every gig.
Yeah.
I should also do it at like rehearsals, but I don't usually, which is bad. I should start to do that. I think I want to, we need to look after our instruments,
Absolutely.
And it's not something that can just, every time I rehearse.
No, you can't go buy a new voice or put new vocal cords on. You got one.
But, yeah, but vocal zones are amazing.
Okay.
I do take a lot of them, and they are really good for your voice as well.
Okay. So between vocal zones and a semi-consistent warm-up, and then other than that, you're practicing on the job while you're writing, recording, and performing, and that's cool. And it's honestly that's par. That's what most successful career singers do. They don't have some sort of regime. The regime is the creation, and learning and growing through creation. And I think that if you look at other fields, if you even go outside of music, right? You know, people will go to school to become a pilot or something, but you don't really learn how to be a pilot until you are a pilot. You can read about it. You can do, and I think that sort of way of thinking, like you can learn about being a singer. You can do things that other singers have done, but until you are in a position where you are saying, I'm a singer, and you have things set up to where you're living the life of a vocalist, the life of an artist, you're never going to learn. There has to be that element of on-the-job training in order to be so to put things in your path that cause you to improve as a result, rather than pursuing improvement as the end, right? Like you're not necessarily sitting around. You're not sitting around at all, especially now. But you're not sitting around going, I have to get my voice to a certain level before I can go release my next single or film my next video or go on my next tour. You are planning these things. You're actively writing and performing and recording, and as a result, you are getting to that next level because you have the pursuits in the right order. Being good is the result of doing what you do. Being good is not it's not a pursuit in and of itself that enables you to do what you do. It's an interesting, different way of thinking, but you're a living example of that.
Yeah. I think it's interesting, it's also like there's so much long other days when a singer was just a singer. Do you know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
struggle to, it's kind of sad. It is sad. I love doing all the other stuff around being an artist, but like, it's a shame that I don't get more time to actually just sing,
Yeah.
which is so ironic, you know?
Yeah.
And actually practice. Like I used to do, I used to have a really great vocal coach, and I did, he'd give me a new song every week,
Hmm.
and I would go away and learn the song, like I mean like meticulously practice it.
Yeah.
Every single run I'd go over it, like that was just his way of, vocal training. Like
Right.
every single run you'd go over it 30 times until you got it perfectly.
Yep.
And it was not, that's not an exaggeration, like 30 times. Like, and it was like, yeah, it was like doing homework. I was a bit like, oh, I gotta go home and practice singing. It's so much effort, and like, but also like it's always nice when you're doing it, and it's um and you sort of forget, you can get lost in being an artist and forget about being a singer, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to pull at that thread a little bit more because your your practicing back then was working on little pieces of songs and building those into your voice, building those into the muscle memory of your voice. That's exactly how I train my students. Is
Wow.
we're going to hone this one tiny section. We're not going to try to sing the song all the way through. We're going to learn, and that's why I enjoy breaking down your videos so much, because I will, you'll see me do it on the videos sometimes, but when that recorder goes off, a lot of times I'm going and I'm and
Yeah.
working those transitions into my voice, but and feeling out the differences between, oh, what does it feel like to abandon into my head voice there? What does it feel like to really belt right afterward? Or I'm going to put that in my own range because I feel like I can deal with that from a phrasing vantage point better because I'm not trying to hit those same notes or whatever. But you don't do it as much anymore, but that's really how you cut your teeth,
Yeah.
was taking these small song snippets and going, I'm going to make those mine. I'm going to figure out how I can. You're not necessarily trying to imitate the other artist, although there might be an aspect of that. But really, it's about putting it in your own voice, figuring out what your voice can really do based on that part of a song. I love that you said that. I love that you mentioned that. How
Yeah.
long? How long were you studying that way?
I started with him when I was 16.
Mm-hmm.
So um maybe 7 years I was doing that.
7 years of microanalysis on
Yeah.
songs. You can hear it. You can hear it in your
Thank
voice.
you. I'll tell him as well. He'll be really happy.
Yeah, that is super cool to hear that you did that. Do you remember some of the songs that had the most impact on you in that time period?
Oh, Jasmine Sullivan.
Okay.
There was a few Jasmine Sullivan ones, and I was like, Jesus Christ, they were not easy.
Yeah.
She is a beast, of a vocal beast. Like she's amazing. Um, there was a lot of like Beyonce, which was also very difficult. They were all difficult, otherwise he has like different folders, and one of them's like diva, one of them's super diva, one of
Yeah.
them's like super diva. I was like
Nice.
in the like I was in the like bulk of the super divas, and doing all the harder songs. Like Love on Top was one of them. um a lot of, yeah, Christina Aguilera songs, Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
It was mainly like runs and things. I think I've always been quite I've always had, well, not always, but I find it easier to sing really, to like really belt. And uh I've I found it easier to learn. I don't really know how to describe it, because it's not like I've always had a really high belt, but I naturally was a bit more like, I can sing high and
Yeah.
loud.
Yeah.
And the details of things is what I find harder. So like melisma, I find that more difficult. And like there'll be runs that I'm still like, oh, I can't believe I got that right. I feel like it's hit and miss. Like I'll be able to do it in a studio version, and then it'll come to doing it live and I'll be like, oh, I'm really dreading that little run, and it's like the tiniest bit that's like or something, and I'll just like dread it because I'm like, oh god, that's coming up, and then it's like a really big note right after, and I'll just be like, oh yeah, no, that's easy, that's my like that's where I'm comfortable. The runs is where I struggle, and the soft singing I struggle with it more.
That's cool to hear you say that. One of the things I commented on Fingers Live was that your runs are so tastefully subtle, and they're accurate. I mean, they're good, but they're not in your face. I mean, I love listening to Christina Aguilera, and her agility is, I mean, there's nobody like her, right?
Yeah.
The way she handles runs though are often a lot more in your face. You have this, oh well, she's an agile vocalist. You almost have to listen to your songs several times to appreciate the agility and the level of detail that you have in your runs. And I love that because there's somewhere to dig, there's somewhere to go. The belty notes, the dynamics, the whisper singing, those stand out immediately because of the contrasts you're drawing. And then the runs, you almost have to like, oh, what just happened? Okay, let me go back, listen again. Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't notice that. And there's one in there, how you're moving your mouth, you sneer during it, and then you very subtly change the vowel. And you don't even, I had to listen to it like 3 or 4 times to realize that the vowel modification was sort of what was helping you bounce along the run in a way. And
interesting.
And I just thought, I love the fact that you're
explaining complex topics can be challenging. Highlight the text you want to simplify and let grammar
is subtle. It makes it even more enjoyable because you can do it. You have the chops. But it's almost like, yeah, you know what? I don't need to flaunt that aspect of my singing because that's not really the point. The point is I'm going to get you going with the big notes and the dynamic contrasts, and I'm going to whisper in your ear, and just when you've leaned in, I'm going to smack you in the face. And then in the meantime, there's going to be this run that I mutter over here that you probably are going to miss because you're still going like this because you just got hit in the face. Like that's how I would that's how I would describe your voice. And it's
I love that so much.
And that's it's just it's been so fun getting to know your singing, and I can't wait for what's in store for you. I mean, you're gonna have a big year. I can tell.
I hope so. Yeah. It feels like that currently, but we'll have to see. It feels good right now. It feels like really, really, I'm really grateful. You know.
What would you say?
Okay, I think I will stop it here and make the rest of it in a third part because it gets a really, really, really long video, and I don't know, I'm really tired today. You see it, how I look. I see it by myself. I can't watch more. It's really, really, really much what happens at the moment in the back of this channel. Not in the back of this channel, in my life. And yes, but I wanted to do this video today. But I think I will stop it here. And we'll do a part 3 of it, maybe tomorrow, maybe in the next days, I'm not sure. And yes, I hope you enjoyed watching this video or this interview, part 2, with me. And I'm really excited about going into more of Chinchilla's music. I will do this probably next week. Because first I want to watch the interview already, but yes, then I will listen to more music of her, because I really like her, and I think she's really an interesting woman, and she's really funny, and she has nice and interesting things to say. Feminism is her part, and she does it great, in a great way. And I like that she's so natural. She's like a queen in her videos and in her music and all of this, but she's so natural here and so nice and so funny and so normal person, and really lovely. I really like her. So I really like this interview. Chris Liepe did a great job, and yes, I will note this timestamp, and then we will get a part 3 of this. So thanks for watching it with me, and if you liked it, you're very welcome to stick around. And yes, like, subscribe, write a comment if you want, and then see you next time. Bye.